kidding me? Motherfucker. Motherfucker. I'm sorry. I have been talking for 15 minutes. I went through the chat. I was talking about what was going on here. I was answering questions. I was advertising new shit. Oh, fuck you, YouTube. I had to come to the goddamn other screen and literally hit go live. I'm supposed to automatically go live. I've set it to auto go live 3 times. It's been working automatically for months. All of a sudden today it doesn't automatically go live. Mother effer. I'm holy F. I could have started the whole fucking show. I could have finished the show without ever going live had I not noticed. Oh my God. I guess I literally went through all the, okay. Well, guess what? Looks like we're starting over. I will not do the countdown. I was like, don't worry, I'm starting early, but don't worry, we won't start the actual video until 5 p.m. in case, anybody sets their watch by it. Motherfucker. So, let's start this again. I know. The hat. I know. The hat. Hello world, it's Birdo Prey 5 Qapla, and welcome to Deep Space Nine. Welcome to Deep Space Nine Wednesday for December 9th, 2020. And you might ask, why am I in the big Bird of Prey view screen? And that is to show off my very cool, very new Birdo Prey 5 hat. It actually has a little Karogan flag on it and says made in Karoga. Of course, it's not actually made in Karoga. It's made in China. And you have to wait like 3+ weeks to get it because it comes from China. But for $10.48 on Amazon, at least for those of us in the United States, that's a pretty decent price for a relatively quality hat. It was the only seller who was willing to put an image on the hat and not something embroidered. See, I got it right the first time. Now I don't even remember what word I was supposed to say. Embroidered. So this gives a full image. I'm a little hesitant to wonder how it would hold up in the rain and the snow, because it is more like a press sticker onto the hat. For a YouTube stream though, it looks good. It works. It's fine with it. I'm happy with it for indoors. I don't know if I trust it outdoors. I'm not pushing this hard, but for me and for my needs, it's a pretty good hat. And then we're coming to the Deep Space Nine screen. I can't fucking believe I was talking for so effing long. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's see. Hat. It's a pretty good hat. And now it's okay. So at 2:57 p.m., Karoga Knight says Viva Karoga. Hashtag more cats for Yosef. Thank you, Karoga Knight, and I'm sure Yosef will appreciate the more cats for Yosef. Then not Ryan Johnson said hashtag hail Karoga, hashtag hail on Karoga, and emoji Birdo Prey 5 is late. And now I really was late because fucking YouTube decided to not work. 47 Yorktown puts in more cat emojis and hashtag more cats for Yosef. DD Myers is Qapla Birdo Prey. How are you doing today? How's the family doing today? DD, Mama Prey is exhausted. I'm doing a little bit better than I was yesterday. I'm on my 2nd day of antibiotics. Hopefully I'll be feeling better. Hopefully I'll have the strength because early tomorrow morning, the newest episode of Star Trek Discovery drops, Terra Firma Part 1. And we've been warned that this is the episode that destroys everything. And I just hope I have the strength to stand up to this assault on my brain, assault on Star Trek itself, an assault on everything we hold dear. And if by some chance that the episode is actually good, or perhaps somehow even great, I will be sure to say that too. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me, what's this? The 48th episode of Discovery. Shame on me. Shame on me. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. And Rock Solid says, was there not a stream yesterday? And I saw somebody told you, yes, I streamed on Bird of Prey X. You didn't get notification. But then you said you were subscribed to Bird of Prey Triple X. Maybe that's the reason you want to be subscribed to Bird of Prey X with 1X. And then maybe you'll get the notifications. I also tweeted out that though I wasn't streaming yesterday, I just wasn't feeling great that afternoon, that I tweeted out a video to an underwatched video of mine, my top 5 Star Trek TOS episodes, and suggested people could watch that instead. Then Dee Myers, 47 Yorktown, also said hashtag more cats for Yosef. Dee Myers says, I read that. Hector says, Bird of Prey 5 is busy sabotaging the SN8 jump. It seems Sassy is barking like crazy at Mamo Prey because Mamo Prey is just trying to rest, and Sassy, for some reason, can't have that. Sassy girl, let Mamo Prey rest, baby. Let Mamo Prey rest. She doesn't bother me. Just so you know, don't worry about her barking. Okay, but I I don't want you to worry about her. For me, we're okay. We have the latest in anti-dog barking tech in this microphone and on the computer. So yeah, Dee, it's not one of the best days here. Actors is Bird of Prey is busy sabotaging SN8 jump. It seems I don't know what an SN8 jump is. Hector. Rock Solid says was there not a stream? Yes, there was. An actor says Bird of Prey stream, yes. SpaceX stream, yes. But launch was aborted at T minus 1.3 seconds. I don't understand how they can abort so quick. I thought they started the engines at like 2 or 3 seconds before launch. Rock Solid never got notification. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry, Rock Solid. 47 Yorktown says Rock Solid stream was on Bird of Prey X. Carlo Albanese says hi and hope everyone is as well as can be. Thank you, Carlo. Admiral Saval says yo Admiral. 54.5 Access Radio says hashtag many felines for Patrick. Peroxide says I'm sub to fans only Bird of Prey Triple X channel, so no alert or notification. Yep, well, that's the wrong channel, Rock Solid. Dr. Alex's Qapla Bird of Prey just got my congrats on 500 subs from YouTube. Thanks in no small part to you. Well, you are welcome, Dr. Alex. Although I know it was Anti-Trekker who put you over the 500 mark live on his stream. What I did do, Dr. Alex, and I hope it helps, was I posted a review of your book on Amazon today. The Doctor Reads the Doctor by the Doctor, a parody of a once beloved TV show. If anybody wants, any Doctor Who fans out there should definitely check out Dr. Alex's book. It is on Amazon in both Kindle and print. And I'm sure he'd love not only if you purchased a copy, but certainly a review of it, because I was the first reviewer, and hopefully that helps get him some more sales. Actor says happy 500 to Dr. Alex. Absolutely. And Joseph Patrick sent a €2 super chat. Thank you, Joseph. And Joseph says, send money for more cat food. I will get more cats. You send money to me or send money to you? Well, send money and we'll figure it out. Carlo Albanese, he says, my base has been repaired. The damaged ships disassembled. Karoga rises from the ashes. Absolutely. Karoga is like the mighty phoenix, always rising from the ashes. And only once in a while are those ashes my fault. Praise Karoga. Absolutely, Carlo. Dr. Alex says, thank you to Hector. DD says, Dr. Alex, what a milestone. Congrats on the day. Doing great. Keep up the wonderful job you do. Absolutely. Joseph Patrick said, soon, which was my first hint that I was perhaps not live. Because at that point, I'd been talking for 14 minutes. Rock Solid says, he's late. No notification yesterday. Unsubscribing from Bird of Prey, Hail on Karoga, and I didn't understand why people were saying that it was late when I had been talking. Rockstar says, and hashtag Dear Bob. And then I asked, are we live? And 47 Yorktown said, no. And Not Ryan Johnson says, Bird is late. And DD says, must be Tribbles. The Tribbles, they've gotten into the machinery, all right. And I told you guys, I've been talking for 15 minutes. Rock Solid says, Bird of Prey lies. No, Mama Prey can confirm. I was in full streaming mode. Sassy's barking at somebody outside now. Actors as well. Sassy must be happy. Sassy does not let Mama Prey rest, unfortunately. She gets in these moods sometimes and she just goes off, and Mama Prey trying to relax, trying to rest, get a few minutes to just read a book or lay down, and Sassy goes nuts. DD says, all I'm getting is saying waiting on Bird of Prey. Ryan says, okay, finally went live, and 47 Yorktown says, yes. Not Ryan says, bird cursing is the best. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Qapla 47 Yorktown. Not Ryan Johnson, bird has to start over. I did. Rock Solid says, Bird of Prey, you know I don't have these issues with OBS Streamlabs. This wasn't a Streamlabs issue or an XSplit issue. This was a YouTube issue. Actor says, this stream is rated Karoga for adult language. Man, Sassy is running in circles. Mike Richards says, and a cheerful hello to you too, Bird of Prey. Apologies for my earlier language outburst. Welcome, Mike Richards. 47 Yorktown says, Angry Bird. Mar Krell says, cool, woke up at the right time. Qapla Mar. DD says, we love the hat. I love the hat. Thank you, DD. John Meyer says, Bird in a time loop. It feels that way. Actor says, not made by orphans, not buying. I can't promise it isn't made by orphans. LDG Pixels channel gives a wave. Welcome, LDG Pixels. John Myers says, oh, Hector is so incorrect. Yeah, I figured. It's a pretty good chance that orphan or slave or what would it be? Prison labor was involved somehow. Yeah. Actor says, if that hat starts leaking ink, you can call it the Rudy. John DeMarco says, greetings, John. Dr. Alex says, has Bird seen my comment yet? I did. And now I've seen it again. Arabic Sonder donated $1 super chat. Qapla Arabic Sonder. Thank you so much. I did see it. I saw it twice. John DeMarco says he was behind in the comments before he even started. Dan23 says Discovery Season 3, mentioning a lot of different timelines and stuff apparently. You know, maybe that's what they need to do. You know, if they mention so many timelines that we can possibly believe Discovery is not in the prime or main timeline, that might be a good thing. Dr. Alex is laughing and thumb upping. Actor says nothing is destroyed forever. If Saint Miguela is still around to save everyone in the past or in the future. Oh, Saint Miguela, Michael Burnham. John DeMarco says, hope you and Mama Pray feel better. Thank you, John. And there's Joseph Super Chat. Dr. Alex says, oh, thank you, Bird. You're welcome, Dr. Alex. I hope it's satisfactory. Dee Dee Myers says, Bird of Prey, hope you guys have a better day tomorrow. Please give Mama Pray my best wishes. Mama Pray, Dee Dee Myers gives you best wishes. He says, thank you. Roxod says, Bird of Prey, Biden tweeted in this AM that one day I'll sign an executive order to require masks everywhere I can. So isn't he saying shortly after being sworn in, he'll violate the Constitution? No. And just to be clear, he said he'll sign an executive order to require masks everywhere he can, which means everywhere he can legally force it, which means whatever power the President of the United States has, probably over certain federal things, like he can probably require masks in the military because he is commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He can most certainly require masks be worn in the White House. I'm not sure what else. I'm not sure if he has final say over all federal workers and federal workplaces or not. I'm not that up on the details of it, but I would guess his power is limited to federally funded places. So he doesn't have the power to force, me in Queens, New York, to wear a mask, to go outside in my yard, or even to go into a local business. Now, my mayor has the power to require me to wear a mask to go to a local business, but the president doesn't. And his, not to defend Biden, but as he said, to require it everywhere he can, that's just an oversimple. It's a big statement, but it means very little. The president has very little power to require masks be worn by anybody, and hence why it's a futile decision to say, do you support wearing masks from the president? I mean, yeah, you can support wearing masks, but the president can't make it a requirement. 99% of the country. So there are much bigger problems than wearing masks. Carlo Albanese is laughing, and Captain Trax says, hail on Caroga. Thomas's Bird of Prey is late. Captain Trax, Bird of Prey, how are your day? Wish I could say it was well. Thank you, Captain. I hope your day was well. Not Ryan Johnson says, Bird of Prey, once again, Joseph Patrick, aka Future Man, could have warned you that you weren't live, but he enjoyed you messing up twice. Thomas is my governor, who had tough restrictions, tested positive for the virus today. Guess he didn't follow his own rules. Sorry to hear that, Thomas, although you may or may not be. Joseph says, does the US of A also have legged forces because of armed forces? Probably, but they're secret. Actor says, as in forces with legs? I would think so. Captain Trax says, Bird Prey, no, it's not actually. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Captain. And Old Media Guy says, afternoon, Qapla, Old Media Guy. Good to see you guys. So now we're all here, and we're gathered here to watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 13, Crossfire. And for the moment, I'm honestly not 100% sure why this is called Crossfire. It's an episode that's heavily Odo, Kira, First Minister Shakaar comes aboard the station. Odo is coming to grips with his love interest in Kira, but it's still a big secret at this time. It's a very emotional episode for Odo. You feel You feel pretty bad for the man. And then by the end, the only one who really knows the secret is Quark. And it really is a big step forward in the Odo Kira eventual relationship. It's a big step forward in seeing that Odo has human feelings. And it's also a big step in the Odo Quark dynamic. So it is not as interesting, perhaps, an episode as Homefront and Paradise Lost, which we watched last week. And I can understand that this isn't going to be most people's favorite episode or type of episode, but it's not a filler episode. It is an important episode in establishing that we have complicated characters here with complicated backstories. And, this is going to be a series that runs 7 seasons, and we need to tell this story before we can get to stories in later seasons. So, I still find this to be a very interesting episode. Maybe not in a top 10 episode by any means, but still a quality episode. And with that, I'll read a couple more chats and then we'll get started. Guys, if you haven't already you want to go to the Bird O Prey 5 screening room. The address is down that way. birdopray5.com/SR lowercase. Open it in a separate window or a separate tab and keep YouTube open so you can hear the commentary. If you can't go to the screening room, then we will play screenshots on the view screen every 10 seconds or so you know where we are in the episode. And we are paused 9 seconds into the episode. At this part, I'll hit play in the screening room and we'll catch up. Dan 23 says, Bird of Prey, the actor who played Odo passed away 1 year ago from yesterday. Yes, Rene Auberjonois. He was a great actor. He was a Shakespearean actor. Probably, as acting credits and acting quality goes, second only to Patrick Stewart in the Star Trek franchise. And ultra dedicated actor. The time he had to spend in makeup was extreme. I mean, you think Odo's makeup is fairly simple compared to a Klingon or some other really crazy alien. No, his makeup took just as long as Worf's and the because they had to get it so perfectly smooth. He had a mask he had to wear. They had to get everything perfect, and just to make sure he didn't mess up his makeup, because he was such a consummate professional for 7 years. The days he worked, which were most days during the week, because they used to work for like 6 months straight, because they were filming 25, 26 episodes a year. They weren't filming 10 episodes or 12 episodes. They were filming 25, 26 episodes a year. So half the year he was working. He would bring in his lunch and possibly his dinner in liquid form. He would he'd mash it up like he had a broken jaw, and he would just suck it through a straw, because the only way he could eat without ruining his makeup was to suck food through a straw. So a super professional, Rene Auberjonois. I did a tribute video to him the day after I heard about him passing away. If you guys have not seen that, please search it out. My Rene Auberjonois video. And we're going to see some of it in this episode. I identified quite a bit with Odo growing up, and I still do. He was a great loss to the community and him And Aaron Eisenberg, the actor who played Nog, also died that year, 2019, I believe. Yeah, it's sad that they passed, and sad that we will never truly get a proper reunion, even if Avery Brooks somehow could be convinced to come out of retirement, which he probably can't be. Dan23 says, isn't there an earlier episode where Odo says he doesn't have emotions or something? Odo tries to pretend that he doesn't have emotions, that he doesn't. He finds the humanoid concept of coupling, like ridiculous. And this is the kind of episode where we realize that was just Odo being Odo, trying to pretend he's something he's not. Odo is actually a very emotional guy. He just hides it. So, yeah. With that, let's go ahead and head to the screening room. Okay. I have to shut off the computer speaker audio so that you guys don't hear it on YouTube. I've done that. Okay, I'm going to hit play in the screening room in a few seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play in the screening room. And now we'll hit play on YouTube. And we see Odo getting his office ready. He's ordered a Ractigino with like 2 whatevers in it. He wants the time. It's 07:59 hours. He puts the coffee out. Absolutely perfect. He's getting us all ready. He's pulling down his uniform. He's making sure everything is as perfect as can be. And he's just going to pretend he's playing it cool. He's going to turn around, pretend he's just been reading these reports. And Major Kira comes in with this big, beautiful smile on her face, says, good morning. And Odo's like, oh, good morning. And she's so happy she has her coffee. He does this just to see that look of satisfaction on her face. He wants to know how many things we have to talk about this week. Like 16 things, 16 items on the report. It's the station's crime report. They're talking about why do these 2 aliens stay together? He found him and his wife, doing things behind the information kiosk. He's like, oh, that answers her question. Item 7. What's item 7? One of his deputies caught some guy scrolling political graffiti over the wall. He's like, what's it about? He was protesting First Minister Shakaar's upcoming visit to the station. So this guy's been handing out leaflets. They don't want Bajoran to join the Federation. So he spent his night in a holding cell. And the arbiter sentenced him to 3 weeks community service on sanitation duty. Says make sure he scrubs the wall clean before Shakaar gets here. And now Quark comes in. Quark wants to file a complaint. He says, not now. He says, it's a noise complaint against you. He's like, I'm doing station business. Quark is telling Kira about the racket he makes. He says, you ever hear somebody practice shape-shifting? He thought there was a caribou or something chomping up there. Says once she complained, he took the form of a mouse. He's like, yeah, little feet scurrying across the floor, back and forth. And Kira's like, you could hear that? And Quark is like, yeah, the lobes. He can hear it. They can hear him oozing around. He's like, maybe Quark should change quarters. And Quark is like, maybe he should be more considerate. Maybe shapeshift in the middle of the night. There should be some regulation about that. So Odo says, come back later. He just wants to get back alone with Kira. And Kira says, isn't it just Quark's luck that you would be assigned quarters right above his? And Odo says, luck had nothing to do with it. And Kira laughs. Now we have a little ship coming to dock with the station. I'm guessing it's the First Minister. And yes, we have some dress uniforms. Yep, def. Yeah. Odo is O'Brien's like, I don't know why he impressed why O'Brien doesn't know why he insists on being there. Cisco insists on him being there. He's not a senior officer. And now Dak showed up. O'Brien didn't want to be in dress uniform. Said that Shakaar is not used to speaking in groups. He used to mumble his way through mission briefings. But this man looks like he's got confidence. Welcome to Deep Space Nine, Minister. He's been looking forward to visiting the station and meeting the emissary. He says this is part of his senior staff. Jadzia Dax, Chief of Operation Miles O'Brien, Dr. Bashir, and Major Kira. It's like, Norris. He says, good to see you. Yes, I know you expect me to hum, Yosef. I'll hum. And his First Minister's adjutant. He's like, there's quite a crowd on the promenade waiting to see him. Oh, you can't wait. And Dax is like, why didn't you tell him? Tell her. He's so good looking. Like what? You don't see pictures? They don't have this is what I don't like in Star Trek. She doesn't know what he looks like. She doesn't bring up the pictures online, video or something. So his friend is telling him to remember to enunciate. Dan 23 says, I don't get why they're not senior officers. Well, because Miles isn't an officer. He's enlisted. It's just a military designation. He can't be an officer. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, do. Do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Da, da, da. Yosef says, hum, sing for me, my angel of music. Wow. Darren Wagner says, hey, Bird. Oh, hey, you're watching DS9. Qapla, Darren. Yes. And Darren, how are you not a moderator on the channel? So Odo is saying there's a Cardassian extremist group that's already assassinated other Bajoran officials as the true way. They put a hit out on First Minister Shakaar. He's like, there's already an operative in place on this station. He wants to cancel the First Minister's conference and reschedule it for later time. And his adjutant says absolutely not. Nothing's going to stop Shakaar from meeting tomorrow. And he says, Cisco says, shouldn't it be up to the first minister? He says it will be, but it's going to be the same thing. He's going to say the same thing. And he said, Kira agrees. She knows Shakaar. He's not going to let terrorists change what happened. The day the Cardassians wanted to negotiate with him, was the day he knew they'd been beaten. So he will not let terrorists win. Surprising, considering he was a terrorist. He was a terrorist. Yosef says the link to the episode is on the screen. It is. It is. So Odo is going to put stuff on both sides of the minister's quarters. Worf says we should clear the whole section of the habitat wing, but Odo says it's just not practical. Worf says security was difficult enough on the Enterprise. It's near impossible on this station. Worf wants more order. Odo says his people have an innate need for order. He says, so Odo says he has a daily routine, which he follows, every day. Worf says he can't establish a routine here. He found it difficult. Odo says you can bring order to your life by ordering your quarters right. Everything, can be an exact spot. And Worf says, mine too. Even with my eyes closed, I know exactly where everything is. And Odo says, him too. And Odo says, and also you want to make sure everybody knows they just can't come by your quarters anytime they want. If you let them in, it's only going to happen more. And Worf says, absolutely not. If you're nice to them, it's only going to invite more visits. And Worf says the only person who's shown any tendency to drop by is O'Brien. And he says, perhaps if okay, sassy, that's my, praise cell phone. Anyway, so Worf says if he's not as nice to O'Brien, maybe he'll stop coming by so much. Okay. So the wardroom will be secure, according to Worf. So Worf and Odo are kind of both doing security for this. Moxley fan, Qapla Moxley fan. Anti-Lori loaded as bird of prey. We demand this episode where no Kurogan has gone before. I'm not sure what episode that is. Oh, he posted extra security on the promenade. He just wants to slip in and slip out to I don't know to where. It's like now that you're first minister, you can't slip in and out of bed without people noticing. Admiral Saval with a $5 super chat. Qapla, Admiral, thank you. Says Miles E. O'Brien is a senior enlisted officer, senior chief petty officer, and an E8 in the U.S. Navy. I don't know how Miles O'Brien is in the U.S. Navy, Admiral. But you know what? Darren can probably tell us more about it. It was my understanding that Miles is not an officer, but if I'm wrong, it's possible. It's not my strongest suit. But I do know that unless there's a different Miles O'Brien, which there probably is, Miles O'Brien from Star Trek is not in the U.S. Navy. Anti-Lori Loaded says, any STD episode is where no Kurogan has gone before. No, thank you. Okay, so Odo is watching Shakaar. He's shaking hands on the promenade. He's very suspicious. He's looking around. there's this older woman walking through the crowd, and she's bending down. Oh my God! Oh, she picked up a baby. She picked up a baby. Wrong person, Odo. See, why doesn't Odo shapeshift into like a light post or something so he can be tall and look at everything at the same time? Or here he could shapeshift into a locked door. He's now keeping everybody out of the temple or wherever he is. Kira's got a nice dress uniform for this episode. He's like, is it always like this? Kira asks. He's like, it's not often that people get to talk to the First Minister. It's like, you never met a Bajoran who doesn't have, something to say. And Vedic Thompson's up there. He's an excellent spring ball player. Admiral Savell says, Miles E. O'Brien is a senior enlisted officer, senior chief petty officer, E8 in U.S. Navy equivalent rank of that Starfleet rank. Gotcha. Joseph says it could have been an exploding baby. I suppose it could have. And Darren says, Bird of Prey. O'Brien is an enlisted man, not a commissioned officer. His full title is Chief Petty Officer. It's debatable whether or not he is a senior chief E8 or a master chief E9. Okay, so even if his title is Chief Petty Officer, he's not an officer. That makes total sense. Exactly what I'd expect from the military. So Odo told Kira she looks good, and she takes it as a joke. He was being sincere, I think. Oh, he's at a belt. Oh, she said he looked good with a belt, so he made the belt. She says it's much better, so he's wearing the belt for Kira. Kira says she guess she'll turn in. And, have a good night. So Kira is going to leave, and the First Minister asks to be excused. He stops Nerys from leaving. He's like, why are you leaving? She's like, you were so busy. I didn't want to bother you. He's like, nonsense. He has no idea. She says, then today's not a good time to give an opinion on how Bajor to be dealing with whatever. He's like, yeah, it would, but not here. She's like, I was joking. Like, I don't know. Quark is going around offering Hasperat. Like, he's charging by the head for the function. Quark is doing the catering personally. Seems like, I guess he wants to be there since the First Minister's there. You never know what he might overhear. And now Quark finally understands that Odo and Kira might, Odo might have feelings for Kira. And so Odo is going to escort him and Kira under the guise of protecting them. But the First Minister, completely unaware Odo has anything but, professional feelings for Kira, tells him, hey, don't stand too close. And so Odo makes sure he stands a few steps back. The look on Odo's face as they're laughing and clearly making a physical connection, and there goes the hand on Kira's back, and Odo realizes he's gonna get some competition. Poor Odo. He's standing outside. He was standing outside Kira's quarters or somebody's quarters. He's like, the First Minister comes out. He wants to go back to his quarters. Oh, the negotiations aren't going that well. So it's the next day. He says, the truth is Bajorans are less successful than most humanoids in hiding their emotions. Old media guy says they're breaking Odo's semi-liquid heart. they've been trying to cut the timetable for Bajor's admittance into the Federation in half. Every member of the Federation has gone through the same process. Why should Bajor be any different? I can't think of a single reason, unless you take into account 50 years of occupation had on the society. He thanks Odo. He says, I've been a soldier and longer than he's been a politician. And he's beginning to think being a soldier was easier. Probably was. Darren says, bird of prey, yeah, in the Navy, a petty officer isn't an officer. It's confusing at first, but you get used to it after being in that world for a while. Understood. Thank you, Darren. So the First Minister says he realizes he hasn't been making Odo's job any easier. He just wants him to understand. He appreciates his thoroughness. He's going to ask an awkward question. Odo, man to man, I know that you and Nerys are friends. I was wondering, does she ever talk to you about me? He says, of course. She's spoken about you on multiple occasions. He means like, no, has he said anything like that she thought of me as more than a friend? Odo says, I see what you're getting at. He's like, let me think. Except Odo doesn't have a beard, so it's much less productive. No, she's never thought of you as more than a friend. And he understands. He's a little saddened. Like his wife's been dead or left him over 10 years. He's been interested. She says Kira has been a good friend, known her over 10 years. She follows orders. This is different. Odo says, is it? He's like, she's still your friend, isn't she? It's like, I know, but I think I'm falling in love with her. Odo says, sometimes I get the sense that maybe, just maybe, she feels the same way. Odo gets that same exact feeling. Are you talking to me? So he gets the same thing, but if he could be letting something very precious go if he doesn't try. Odo says it's a very difficult situation. Eastland Burkle, this is the Odo Kira story arc is sad. Well, it's not sad in the end. Although it is. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. I take it back. So Odo says she thinks she's still grieving for Vedic burial. He's going to try and cut this off. He's like, maybe I should just be patient. He's like, on the other hand, maybe I should let her know how I feel. Might help her get over her loss. If she knew there was someone who really cared about her, who isn't a changeling. Like, what do you think? As he stabs Odo in his heart, he's twisting the knife. He's twisting the knife in Odo's heart. He doesn't want to burden Odo with his problems. You son of a bitch. You're taking the woman he loves. You're taking the woman he loves and you're snatching her away. Odo is thinking about how many ways he could kill you right now. He'll kill you where you stand and he'll take over as First Minister. And now Quark is filling the punch bowl because, of course, there's punch bowls. And Odo is scanning the Ferengi, and Quark is like, you don't have to bother. He can personally vouch for all his employees. Now he's scanning the fruit. A Ferengi eavesdropping device in the fruit. And he's like, I suppose you don't have any idea how that got there. He's like, I've been looking for this all day. Quark says, you admit it's yours? I mean, Odo says, you admit it's yours? Quark says, I misplaced it. He says, "You know as well as I do, Odo, it's illegal to listen to someone's conversation." It's like, he's like, "Why do you have such an expensive listening device?" He uses it to monitor ROM. It says, ever since whatever, he stops breathing in the middle of the night. He can't sleep unless he knows his brother's all right. Robert Rose Jr. says, hello today, Brutal Prey, Mumble Prey, Sassy, hope all are doing well. Hail Turdistan and hail on Karoga. Admiral Zaval says, it's a senior chief, pet is a non-petty officer, is a non-commissioned officer. Understood, Admiral, thank you. And Quark just said it. He's in love with her, Kira. He knows Odo's in love with Kira. Odo says, that's ridiculous. He says, and what's more, you're worried she's falling in love with Shakaar. And Quark says, it's the truth. Why can't you just admit it? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Look, Odo, I know this can't be easy for you. He's like, I don't want your sympathy, Quark. I don't need your advice. Just stay out of my business. Oh, Quark. Quark knew he hit him. He hit him. He knows Odo's hurting. You know Odo's hurting. And Odo's at his desk, twirling his fingers. Computer time. 08:21. Kira's 22 minutes late. There she is. She says, sorry, I'm late. She didn't realize what time it was. She's like, what do we have? 9 items. This looks like it's all fairly routine. Odo's looking at her. He says, you're wrecked. Did you know? She had one this morning with Shakaar. Now Kira is stabbing him too in the heart. Everybody is stabbing him in the heart. There's so many knives. There's so many knives. Poor Odo. Odo, your pain runs the deepest of all. Oh, he said there's an interesting one. She's like, I'd love to hear it, but she's pressed for time. She promised Shakaar she'd give him a tour of the station. Odo says he'll make sure all the security's in place. Oh, poor Odo. Why did she even bother to come? Why did she even bother to come? 47 Yorktown says SpaceX has had a Karogan landing. Son of a bitch. I thought it got aborted today. So they're showing, she wants to show him the wormhole. And she's like, you're first officer. Can't you order a ship through the wormhole? She's like, you're first minister. Can't you order a fleet through the wormhole? And now they're about to have their kiss. There it is. The wormhole opened. It's a sign from the prophets. It's a sign for the prophets. He made a wish. He made a wish. His wish is to get in your pants, Kira. And you know it. She's like, yes, I wished for the same thing. Odo is like looking up at the corner. He said, well, it was enough to stop the kiss. It's like, we should continue. There's a lot more to see. So he says to Worf, they're headed back down to docking ring. The route's been secured. Enters the security code. And they're in the turbo lift. And I have a bad feeling about this. He hasn't been outside the wardroom in his quarters since he got here. Uh-oh. There's a new Bolian restaurant. He never had Bolian food. Doesn't look very appetizing, but the meat is sort of aged. Worf to Odo. The turbo lift is stuck. We're going to have to reroute him. He says, verify security code. He'll release the controls to him. No, Odo didn't watch the security code. He didn't verify it. Oh no, comms isn't working. Somebody severed the comm links. Controls aren't responding. He's been hacked. Odo's been hacked. Like, how does something fall Like, why is there even gravity in the shaft? Since all the gravity is artificial to begin with, why would you put gravity in the turbo lift shaft? Right? That really doesn't make any sense. That never made any sense to me. Just don't put gravity in the turbo lift shaft. Put gravity in the floor plating of the turbo lift, but not in the shaft. So, Odo's doing one of his shape-shifting into a piece of metal that just expands out to slow the turbo lift. It would have been impossible to stop the turbo lift had it been anybody in the turbo lift other than Odo. Odo was able to become a hydraulic jack and literally lock the turbo lift. Oh, now I assume they'll beam out, but who's to say that the transporter hasn't been hijacked? So he told him somebody overrode the comm system, faked Worf's voice, and set one of the turbo lifts into a free fall. He says they tapped into the comm system with a voice synthesizer. How did they get Worf's security code? Odo said, we don't know that they did, sir. What do you mean? He says he turned over control without verifying Worf's signature. Sisko says Ta'er is human. He said, but you're not even human. And this is not the sort of mistake he'd expect from Odo. Odo says he was distracted. He's like, distracted? He's like a personal matter. He chooses not to discuss it. And Sisko says, whatever this personal matter is, don't let it interfere with your job again. And he says, I won't. Sorry. He says, then that's all I need to hear. He says, now, no ships have been allowed to leave since this incident occurs. It means whoever is responsible is still on the station. He wants them found. Actress's starship did a Karoga landing right down into the basement. This old that's not the so I have to check out this SpaceX landing afterwards. So Worf is talking to Odo. Odo is in La La Land. He's like, if we isolate it, we might be able to follow it back to the source. He's like, Odo, are you listening? Odo says, I heard every word. He says, your mind does not appear to be on its work. Odo says, with all due respect, you don't know me well enough. He says, if someone fails to ask for security verification, his state of mind is obvious. With all due respect, how is sitting in chairs staring at walls going to help apprehend our assassin? Odo says, you're right. It won't. Odo's going to talk to Major Kira. Worf says, why? She's already told us what she knows. Odo says, you follow your leads, I'll follow mine. Oh. Odo is asking what these other people are doing here. He's like, First Minister Shakaar is in Kira's quarters. How long have they been in there? About 3 hours. He says he relieves the ensign. Odo's going to take the rest of his shift. He wasn't scheduled to go off duty. Seems a little weird. So Odo is going to stand outside her quarters to see if he can hear any, sounds he doesn't want to be hearing. Yeah. Just for this scene. He was waiting outside just for this. Oh, good morning. It's the next morning. He's going to go to his quarters and then the meeting in the wardroom. Here, Odo asks Kira if she has a moment to answer a few questions. Come on in. Odo's like, this smells like sex. No, he doesn't say that, but that's what he's thinking. Oh, there's alcohol, open bottles. Kira's laughing, smiling. He's like, did I do something amusing? Kira's like, no. She's like, Shakaar and I. He's like, if somebody told me a year ago this was going to happen, she would have said, you're crazy. Yes, he respected him. He makes him laugh. But we've known each other too well. He's gone weeks without baths together. There's no mystery left between us. We're friends, that's all. Oh, she was wrong. She was super wrong. She's quite happy. And Odo is happy for her. Kira's like, this must seem so silly to you. You're just a stupid shapeshift who has no concept of love. This is so stupid. And now Kira hugs him. She hugs him. She's like, you're such a good friend. Oh, it's going to turn those knives. She's hugging him. She's hugging him. She's now, you wanted to ask me a question. Odo's like, yeah, but it doesn't seem like I should ask it right now. He's got an appointment. He's got to go. Kira's like, okay, goodbye. Goodbye, Odo. Odo looks at her again. One last time. He's like, yeah. Yeah. That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch, Shakaar. I knew I should have killed him in the turbo lift. So, Worf found the bad guy. He was responsible for the attempt on First Minister Shakaar's life. He's admitted to being a true-way operative. They provided him with an isolinear interface to access ship systems. He was attempting to use it to depressurize Shakaar's quarters after sabotaging the environmental controls. Odo's like, I see. Because once he tried to access them, he transferred the signal path. He was accessing something off of level 31. He's like, why didn't you call me before the arrest? Worf says it wasn't necessary. Your deputies assisted me quite capably. They're well trained. You are to be commended. Odo fell behind at his own job. An old media guy, she's treating Odo like her best gay friend. Yeah, no, he's in the zone. He's in the zone. Let me tell you, the friend zone, it's not where you want to be. I've been where Odo is right now. And it is no fun. But there is hope. There is hope. Quark is up there. It's the middle of the night. He did. I know you're in there. I can hear you. And Quark overrides the lock on Odo's door and comes in. So yeah, there's hope. Not a lot of people make it out of the friend zone to the friend with benefit zone, but it can be done. It's happened. Takes a long time and patience, but it is possible. Just gonna tell you, it's possible. I still don't recommend it. In the long term, is it worth it? Probably not. But it can be done. Ah, shit, I hit this. Okay. He didn't have it in him. He's like, it takes passion to do something like this. He really is in love, says Quark. Odo says, how could I have fooled myself into believing she could ever love somebody like me? Quark says, listen, the last thing I want to do is interfere with your personal life. But this just isn't doing any good for any of us. Odo says he'll try to keep his problems more quiet next time. He's like, I'm not talking about pathetic, I'm talking about business. Anytime there's an unusual crime committed on the station, the people have a pool on how long it takes for him to catch the perpetrator. Quark is losing his shirt over. He doesn't care over who lives happily ever after. He just wants to see the situation resolved. And he says the way he sees it, he's either got to tell her the way he feels or forget about her. Concentrate on the essentials, says Quark. Because you can't keep going like this. It's interfering with your job. and your job means my profits. And Odo's like, your profits? He's like, if this doesn't get any better, I'm going to have to stop running the pool. Yosef says, bird of prey, my first private conversation with Erica started with the words, would you go with me for summer vacation? Literally. Wow. Joseph. John DeMarco says, this relationship advice brought to you by Dear Bob. That was a pretty impressive play, Joseph, I gotta say. Well done. Well done. I think that deserves a clap, especially since we all know Erica. Odo says, for a minute, I thought you were talking to me as a friend. Quark says, nah. Although he was. He absolutely was. So it's the next day. Kira is at her computer. She says, yes, it's Odo. Good morning, Major. She's like, oh, come in. What brings you here? He's like, I wanted to talk to you about something. He's like, I don't know how to say this, but, and Kira looks. He's like, I've given this a lot of thought. And Kira gets up. She knows something profound is about to be said. She's like, go on. Just say it. We know he's not going to say, I love you. And he said, I'm afraid we're not going to be able to make our Tuesday morning meetings anymore. He was like, why not? He's decided to schedule additional training. Kira says, maybe we could have our meetings at another time. Odo's like, the schedule's rather tight. Let's face it. The criminal activities reports speak for themselves. There's no reason we have to go over them. Kira's like, well, maybe not. But she kind of enjoyed doing it. She thought he did too. He's like, I would have enjoyed doing it, but you had to ruin it with Shakaar, you whore. I know she's not a whore, but that's what he's thinking. Odo's like, it's just about using my time more efficiently. It has absolutely nothing to do with me thinking about doing crazy things to your body. Kira's like, hey, no belt. And Odo's like, just trying to keep to the essentials. So Kira's understood. See ya, she says. Yeah, he's like, I'm not going to wear a belt. If Kira is not going to have this, then I'm not going to wear her stupid belt. So now we're at Quark's. And there's all these aliens playing Dabo. And Odo comes in to the bar. Quark says they're upstairs, Kira and Shakaar. They're practicing the speech he's gonna before he leaves, and that the Federation agreed to cut the timetable to Federation to join for Beja to join the Federation. And he's like, where'd you hear that? He's like, just a rumor. And Odo's like, you sure you're not listening into your hollow suites again? And he says, even if I was, I don't have the right equipment. And Quark dropped by his quarters this morning. He found a work crew installing soundproofing. He said the fact that they're soundproofing is incidental.
Thank you.
And he said, if you think he'd put up with 3 days of construction, he's crazy. And Quark says, thank you. And Odo says, don't mention it. And there's Kira and Shakaar coming in to sit at the bar table or table by the bar. Odo's a little pleased with himself. He's looks like he's given up on Kira and he's moving on. That'll be good for about a week or two, but that's probably it. That's probably it. End of episode. Uh, Garfield is giving Umax now. You need me to turn on the camera? Okay, yeah. The episode's over. I'll turn the camera back on. Hello world. I'm seeing a ceiling.
Okay.
You see the ceiling?
Oh,
You got it, Mom?
yeah.
Okay.
No, okay, well, all right. Uncle Joey wants to say.
Okay, I'm gonna say hello to Charlie. Hi, Charlie, baby. Hi, Charlie. I'm gonna show him to the camera. Hey, Charlie. Hey, there's Charlie. You're getting your face wiped, Charlie? Aw. Okay, got a little drool. Hey, Charlie. Okay, here's Grandma again.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this was a powerful, emotional episode, especially for those of us who found ourselves in the friend zone over the years. And I'll tell you, I certainly have. It's not the best place to be. In fact, it's a pretty shitty place to be, especially when you watch a new relationship grow, blossom, and you standing there what feels like the entire time. It's tough. It's tough. So I definitely felt like Odo, what I learned from Odo helped. And this was the time in my life when Odo starts taking lessons from Vic Fontaine in a couple seasons. I was taking those lessons. But, well, you know what? Odo and Kira didn't work out in the end. We wanted them to. It looked like they had a shot, right? In season 6 or 7, I would have bet they were going to live happily ever after, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And it was the same for me. Waited so long. You thought it was going to work out. Just didn't. Just didn't. Joseph says, I miss this type of writing on Discovery. I believe you, Joseph. You don't get this type of writing. You don't get this type of storytelling. We haven't gotten this type of storytelling since Enterprise, and possibly, not even last episode of Enterprise. Prior, well in the middle of Enterprise. It's been a long road. No, it's been a long time since we've had Star Trek writing like this. And listen, this took place completely on the station. There was no exploring of strange new worlds. There was no seeking out of new life forms and new civilizations. Nobody went where no one has gone before. Especially, I highly doubted Kira was a virgin. So even Shakaar did not go where no man had gone before. But it was a perfectly good, emotional, impactful episode. And it speaks to a lot of people. Whether you're Shakaar, whether you're Kira, whether you're Odo, whether you're Quark, or whether you're Worf in this situation, somebody can identify with someone, somehow. And it's a powerful episode. So T-Bergs is a redhead on horseback. Hard to resist. My first crush was in the friend zone, says T-Berg. He'd prefer the neutral zone. Absolutely. T-Berg says, newsflash, SpaceX SNH was 95% successful. Okay, so it's the SN8, was it? I gotta check it out. Easlin says, was it partly Odo's fault? What? This? I mean, in deep space, are you saying it was my fault? It was, in that I shouldn't have wasted the time. Probably not. Probably not in hindsight. And to her credit, she told me it more than once that this, wasn't going to go anywhere, but I was happy with what I had at that point. And I should have listened. I should have listened. Joseph has never been in a friend zone. However, I friend zoned one person, a guy, and then I dated his sister for 2 years. Joseph, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Hear it. Dan says maybe they explored new emotional feelings. Maybe they explored new emotional feelings. Ooh. Eastland says Kira never had good judgment over guys, attracted to men she could not be happy with. Perhaps not Odo's fault that he was friend zoned. Oh, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. I mean, but it's nobody's fault. There's nobody's fault. Odo gave off this aura that he was above such things. And frankly, Kira had no interest in Odo in that way whatsoever. She never considered him, and he never gave her reason to consider. But it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. But with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine with me. I'm going to try and get some rest. I hopefully will be up at some point to review Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine Discovery. Oh, Jesus. Tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be okay enough to be on Loki's stream at 9 a.m. And I will see you guys later. Qapla all. Bird out. Oh, wait, let's play the intro since it never played for you guys. And we can get all the channel members can show up. Now we play the intro as the outro.
Tomato.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's gonna be under one roof. You're gonna run it like a business. That means you're gonna make a profit.
Look, these 3 words written larger than the rest. Special pride never written before, or sings tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Sorry about the audio. And yes, oh, let the beautiful Nicole
Hi, I'm
DeBoer.
Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9. And I welcome you to Birdo Play 5 channel.
Hail Karoga. Okay. Also, guys, sorry about that audio, but you got the gist. And yes, thank you, Robert Rose. Guys, remember the virtual pub tonight on Life with Matthew channel. Check it out. And I'll see you at some point.